Okay, so I'm just getting ready to go out for another wilderness camp this year. A few of the tools have changed for bushcrafting that I ended up using. I've broken quite a few knives over the last year, and I haven't put out any new videos because I've basically been saving up to buy new knives. As you know, I've had the Becker 11 on me for about a year now. I ended up pretty much just tossing it in the garbage because I ended up getting fed up with it, as it was a piece of junk. No offense to the company, but I have not had any good luck with 1095 carbon steel until now. I've broken many Moras, and that Becker 11 just could not hold an edge for some strange reason. But with the advent of getting the Izula 2, which I was quite hesitant to buy, but reading so many rave reviews on the internet and watching YouTube videos about the Izula, I figured I'd go for the Izula 2. Glad I did. I do like the extra additional handle length, about a centimeter longer, I think, than the original. Not too sure because I've never actually held the original Izula, but it fits my hand pretty good. I do like the tang to stick out just a little bit past my the palm of my hand, so that if I have to do any hammering or anything like that, I've got something to grip onto and an edge. And it's kind of rounded for doing things like hammering, but you know, in a pinch it'll do. It's got some pretty good jimping up on the top. You know, there has been a lot of reviews. The main reason for this video is just to go over a couple of these things and some of the things that I've noticed about these two knives in particular and my new saw. So now that I've been EDCing this for about a month now, no hard use, but I can tell it already it's a good knife and it's going to do anything that I ask it to in the bush, and probably more. The one wicked thing about this knife compared to any other carbon steel that I've had is not only can I get it razor sharp, but it stays that way for quite a while. So thoroughly impressed with their heat treat. They obviously are doing something right, that company. Did a review already on the Foxriver. I ended up cutting off that little thing on the end. It kept getting guts stuck in it when I was dressing my mule deer this hunting season. Love the knife, but I found that the blade was a little bit long for a lot of day-to-day camp tasks, and especially for EDC. Beautiful knife. I probably would EDC it if it was a little bit smaller. I know they make a woodland special, but I figured for the price point and the amount of money I had at the moment, I'd go for a cheaper neck type knife. I don't consider this a neck knife with the handle scales, and sort of a bit bulky of a sheath, a little bit too noticeable under a t-shirt. But it does fit great in my front pocket. It's got the rounded edges on the sheath there. Really nice, fits in the pocket, barely notice it's there. You can see I like the green micarta on the handles. I noticed that this was very smooth. Again, roughed that up, and this one came quite rough, which I like. Definitely a good grip. I know it'll probably soak up some blood or sweat or whatever, but I'm sure it'll clean off easy enough. I'm not too worried about it. But the biggest similarity after I bought both of these knives, I noticed, is not only the aesthetics of the knife itself, but the functionality of it and the reasoning for me buying it. Look at that drop point, which is pretty much a mirror image, really. Now either the Izula drops down a little bit more than the Foxriver, or if you put it up a little bit, you'll see it comes out a little bit there. But all in all, virtually the same drop point. And now to me, having experience with that edge and that knife, and processing the game from gutting to skinning to deboning, to essentially processing the entire deer with this knife down to ground meat. Well, obviously using the grinder for the ground meat, but thoroughly impressed with it. Kept its edge through it, the whole thing. Very impressed. But I see that having the same blade shape, this will function just as well. The best thing I like about this knife is that my middle finger can come up towards the choil, my thumb gripping the side, and my index finger coming up right to that tip. Makes it super easy to grab onto that deer when you're first opening it up and just zip up along it. Great design. One other thing would be just sort of that forward curve I had talked about with the Foxriver. Just for cutting purposes, it just allows that sort of forward motion already to be in effect when you're cutting into something. A lot less wrist fatigue, a lot easier on the hand. It's already got that sort of forward motion compared to most flat angled blades. You put the thumb on the back, be about there. Just feels more natural to have your thumb pushing forward if you're going to push on the back of the knife for any reason, for drilling, which it's got a nice point to do that. So yeah, thoroughly impressed with this knife and the Foxriver. These will be my mainstay bushcrafting tools. From experience, this winter I'm going to leave the hatchet and my bigger saw at home. I ended up picking up another Silky saw, this one being only 180 millimeters. The last was 270, I believe, 230 or 270 millimeters, can't remember which right now. The reasoning is because I find the collapsing saw to be a little bit more practical to drop in the backpack and cart around. It's also got a nice grip on this as well. Advantage of this one is it's got a two-stage lock. So if you're in a little tight space and you need to get in like that and not scrape your hand against whatever debris is there, you can. Or for more circular cuts, coming around trees and what have you. Also, I realized that the majority of my cutting were only about limbs like that or tree trunks like that, either to make the construction of a teepee or a shelter of some sort. I found that even for firewood, I really wasn't cutting big logs. I just didn't feel the need for it, even in the wintertime here. But it's light. It's actually probably about as heavy as the Foxriver out of its sheath. So drop that in the back of my backpack, or at the bottom of the backpack, hardly know it's there, whip it out when I need it, rather than carting around my hatchet or the larger saw. So hopefully by the end of next week I'll be able to put up some more videos of these being in use and show you what I use them for in my mock survival situation, and also just the basic CAD functions, which is what the intended purpose of this knife. Again, from a hunting and bushcrafting needs, this pretty much covers everything. Thanks for watching.